Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fun Time. No, Fun Basement Time. No,
Is that what we're calling this? I don't
Fun
remember.
Fun Time. I have no idea, man. I am totally not sold on the name yet. Something will come to me, and it'll be exciting. But welcome,
It's
everybody.
plus me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday afternoon stream. And yes, I understand that we have a little bit of competition out there running against us today.
Yeah, I hope we don't impact his numbers too badly. That would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
That poor guy, is just trying to get started, and he's doing this for a living. We can't.
People can watch 2 streams at one time.
Yep.
So it just shows you how much he pays attention to me because we only do this every week. But
only since the beginning of time, basically.
What's that?
It's only been since the beginning of time that you've been doing it, though. So.
Pretty much. But whatever it is, what it is. Go ahead and do your intro there, James.
I'm James from Print and Play. I 3D print arcade cabinets and printers and do all sorts of projects and stuff. So if you're inclined to check that type of stuff out, then I invite you to do so.
Yeah. And I'm Glenn from Fun King 3D, a used to be father and son channel, but my kid doesn't like me anymore and doesn't want to hang out with me ever. He's over there moaning. So as many times as I've told you guys, when you go, whoa, where's Andrew? And I say, well, he's over on the other side of that wall playing video games. Today he is not. Today he's actually over there playing video games. We moved his desk. He is now, 6 feet away from me? I can almost just slap him right from here.
Oh, you did social distancing. That's good.
Well, it's going to be a little bit weird, and we did it to move him away from his brother because his brother annoys him, and now his brother is schooling at home as well because of the current situation. And I didn't even think about the fact that he is now literally sitting in front of the studio computer, but that's the way it goes. So welcome everybody. I see that we got Andy in here. We got Tristan. Felipe's here. Do Uncle Ron. Hello, Uncle Ron. Carl is here. Vince is here. Freddie is here. Corey Mack is here. Tim Wood 12 is here. And that's probably all we're going to get because everybody else is over watching Joel. I should pull that stream up and just see how many people are watching over there. And then
I bet you over 1,000.
401 currently.
Oh, well, I lost that bet then. Just tell me where to mail the check.
Yeah. His video looks all unprofessional and stuff.
I guess he doesn't have a cameraman right now.
No, his cameraman is help lift this big, huge, heavy box.
Oh, is Sean there with him?
Yeah, he's actually they're behind their. I suppose I can show that.
There we go. We just got a free stream for today. We're just going to rebroadcast Joel's stuff.
Yeah. All right. So now you don't have to go to Joel's channel to watch Joel's video. You can just watch Joel's video right here with us.
We'll just act like we're having a conversation, like we're part of something bigger. Joel, that's a wonderful looking printer. If you agree, don't address me at all.
Yeah, let's hope that he doesn't drop that down off the table like he did the last time.
I saw Uncle Jesse drop parts from one of his resin printers too.
Yeah, but whatever, it happens.
That's right. We're only human.
Carl says his audio and video feed is actually kind of crappy today. I wonder why. I mean, it does, the color does look a little bit weird, but yeah, I don't know. And then if I guess Sean's watching the chat, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm still gonna do what I do, even if nobody comes to watch it.
Especially if nobody comes to watch us.
That's right. So what's been going on this week, James? Why don't you tell us what you were working on there?
I got that printer that we were working on last week printing, so I'm just pulling it up there in the corner. Just gonna get a print start on it. It's delivering some really nice prints, and of course, as soon as that one was up and running, I had another one go down. So I've got a CR10 I'm going to be working on while we're chatting today. It's got some weird thermal issues that I fixed for about a day, and then they came back. So, what about you?
Well,
Carl, I've had this haircut since Earth.
what's that?
Carl's making comments about my haircut. I've had this since Earth. Right? I had this last time you saw me.
You just keep the same one.
Yeah. I cut the same hair. It's a lot easier.
Ofek asks, I have a stripped round head hex screw. How to fix it? So my first suggestion would be to try a Torx bit. See if you can find a Torx bit that's just slightly larger than the hole, and you might be able to like work that in there, and it'll grab because it's a little bit sharper.
Yep.
Otherwise, the next suggestion would be a Dremel and cut a slot across it and use a straight screwdriver to.
The other thing that works for me sometimes too is going a size smaller on the hex bolt or the hex driver, and then wrapping an elastic band around it and sort of just wedging it in there so it's got something to grip onto it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I've seen people do it with hot glue too, where they fill the inside of it with hot
Well,
glue.
I was going to say super glue. I've done super glue because then it'll, you can break it out of there afterwards. But
yeah.
Yep. So hopefully one of those suggestions will work for you.
Not just light it in fire and walk away. Problem solved.
Yeah, it depends on what it's hooked to.
Yeah, that fire can follow you.
Uncle Ron said, get a drill bit a hair larger than the threaded portion and drill it out. Oh, that's a last resort. That's always a pain. I mean, you could actually drill a little bit smaller and use an easy out, but hopefully it's not that gnarly of a deal.
Also, if the bolt seized and that's why it's stripped, it may actually help to heat the bolt up a little bit. Even just touching a soldering iron to it so that it expands and then contracts to get a little give out of it. But we got about a billion ways to solve this and no way to know which one's going to work for sure.
Right. So, yes, please get on it right now and let us know if any of those work.
We're pausing the stream until you give us an answer.
Yeah, we're just going to sit here like this.
Hey, what's your computer doing now?
I was going to say, speaking of paused streams, and I'm gonna knock on Simulated Wood because it's now been running for about a week. So,
what did you change?
The last thing that I did to it was I unhooked everything and I held it out the window of my second story and I said, if you don't quit acting up, I'm going to drop you. I ended up, they always say when you're troubleshooting, only do one step at a time so that you know what it was that fixed it.
You didn't do that.
Of course, the last thing I did was two things. So it was one of two things. And one I can undo and the other one I can't really. But I took all the memory out of the machine and I booted it so that it would post fail. And then shut it back down, put the memory back in it, booted it up, went into BIOS and reset the defaults again, and then set it to eco mode. So I guess technically I did three things, but and now it's been working. And I've been running the Folding at Home software on this machine at like the highest setting for the whole week. So Ofex says the problem is that it's the screw holding the heat cartridge on a V6.
Yeah, I often have to heat that cartridge, assuming it still heats. If the reason you're trying to do this is because your cartridge is toast, then that helps so much. But if I have to unscrew one of those, I usually have to heat the hot end up before I can get the bolt to.
Yeah, even if you hit it with a heat gun. Now, I've also found that those screws, if you're not using like a really good quality Allen key, that the cheaper Allen wrenches, usually and I want to say it's a something 64th standard one actually fits the screw better than the metric. So, and I don't know if that's just the way it was or if it's off, but I would think a small Torx may grab into there. Otherwise, load it up with some super glue and see if that'll grab. V6 heat block and heater cartridge isn't really that expensive for a V6. You could just scrap the whole thing. I mean, I know that doesn't do any like instant fix because you got to get one if you don't have one, but
especially right now, getting the generic, especially if you're trying just to snag a generic one or whatever, it can be a bit of a wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here in the U.S., we have printed solid. You can generally have stuff pretty quick.
I've ordered plenty of parts from like filaments.ca and spool.ca in Canada as well. And as long as the post office is being relatively quick. But I've got some stuff that was supposed to be delivered in like 2 days, and here we are 7 or 8 days later, and there's been no shipping updates since they picked up the parcel. So I'm not giving anybody a hard time right now, though. Everybody's trying to do their best. It's a situation.
Yeah, Andy says the same thing. I've always found the imperial sizes fit that be a little bit better.
Doing
I'm
the
glad it's not just me. Joel's totally stream blocking you guys. Yeah, I know.
stream blocker.
Stream blocker. That's because Joel doesn't love me.
No, this is against me. He only started doing this since I started streaming with you.
He was like, "Oh, I'm going to shut James down."
Yep. He's like, James Cameron thinks he's famous. I'll make him infamous.
Well, he's already been running his stream for 11 minutes, and they're just now opening the box.
It's gonna be a bit of a stream then.
And I'm watching the chat, Carl. Get out of there and get back over here, Carl.
We probably got our audio turned down so he can't hear us now.
Well, I was actually going to start assembling my my rep box today.
Okay.
And then I realized that I didn't print the parts for it yet, so but I'm still going to
do some work on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna at least get everything ready and cleaned up, and I can't decide though. I can't decide if I want to put these factory side panels on or these ugly custom ones that I had made.
Those are pretty fancy.
Yeah, they are pretty fancy, aren't they?
I'm a big fan. Well, I did that to mine. I think you knew that already.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't we? That's crazy. Carl's on both.
Well, good for Carl.
Steven said the Repbox prints are a pain. Better have your printer tuned. I have a Prusa. Of course it's tuned. I said he'll try the glue.
I need to grab a power cable, and I'm going to grab that extra power supply. I will be back in 2 seconds.
Hello, Sergio. Thank you for joining us and not going to the dark side and watching Joel's stream.
Who wants to watch that stuff, honestly?
And then right now on the stream, it's they put the printer down on the floor and you can't see it. Oh, now Sean's got the camera set. It was just like Sean adjusting the camera. Oh, I can't block that chair because that's the chair that the cat will come and lay in. Oh, why should I restrict my heckling to one stream? That's right. You guys should all go over there and give them a rash of crap about streaming in my time slot. Oh, great. Now my son is watching Joel's stream. Oh, I got it up over here too. Might as well give Joel all the watch time. Fun King 3D, a father and cat 3D printing channel. That's pretty much how it's become. Dottie, our little black and white cat, the newest addition to the family. She's more like a dog than she is a cat. She actually plays fetch with me.
Xander must buy all his food at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, that's right. He's Trader Xander.
Tell you what, next time he's streaming, I'm going to go watch PewDiePie videos out of spite. I hope I didn't need that piece because I broke it. He does have a big box. I just happen to have a spare 24-volt power supply because this CR10 knockoff I got runs on 24 volts instead of 12. So my Tronxy has actually been running a 12 volt power supply for everything but the bed, and then this was connected to the MOSFET for the bed because they put a 24 volt bed on it, and we're feeding it 12 volts, so it would never get really above like 60 or 70 degrees.
Wow.
So I was like, here's a solution. I won't change the entire printer over to 24 volts. No, I'll just connect a 24 volt power supply up, double the cost for the heating, or not the electronic portion. I mean, it's not costing any more in electricity.
So Sergio says he's watching both, but only has our volume up. So maybe what we need to do is I'll put Joel's stream back in on ours, and then like I'll do the voice for one of them, and you do the voice for the other one, and we'll make them say other things. You know, like.
Oh, it feels like a slippery slope to me doing something that's going to get me banned from the internet. So I'm going to heat up the hot end and see if when the printer's stationary, if I can get it to be all unstable and stuff, because I would like to demonstrate what it's doing beforehand. It holds up to 200 okay, 230 it just yo-yos.
Wait, say that again? It's okay up to...
Like 200 degrees, the variations aren't bad enough that it triggers thermal runaway.
But it does still vary. It doesn't stay solid.
Yeah, no, it's not fine. It's just less not fine.
But then once you go up even higher, it fails.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does sound like it's not getting enough, which could still be mainboard, but...
I don't have anything to test the actual current throughput on it. I don't have a fancy enough multimeter to do the, like, where it's, you put it in series with everything.
Right.
But, anyways. But the weird thing is the variations aren't any worse whether the bed's on or off. And the bed's drawing way more power than the, you know what I'm trying to say. Words are hard. I forgot my USB cable. Son of a gun.
Yeah, Uncle Ron said cut off Xander's meals until he comes back to work. That would save me thousands of dollars. Hello, Mr. Buttram. How are you?
Pew. Okay. We're at 224, 223, 224.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be watching Joel's stream because, like, I'm seeing people over there that are usually over here watching us, and it's like, oh, darn you.
Traitor.
What's that?
They're traitors. They're traitor journals.
How dare you watch that guy? He's got enough subscribers. I never realized how many parts there were to these rep boxes.
No matter how I arrange my camera, I'm trying to hide most of the extra messes that are around everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't do the virtual cam in StreamYard. I'm gonna have to play with it through the week and do a couple test streams, and
we'll get it figured out. Just the two of us.
Well, and it's like I don't know if it has something to do with wiping the computer out and starting over if I didn't load something right, or if something's not loaded at all. I mean, the virtual cam software is installed, but so my company is now all about the virtual meetings. We always had a meeting on Mondays, but now we have to have a meeting every day, which is a lot. And then, like, the other day, the meeting went for almost 2 hours on like a Wednesday, which was really unnecessary. And
honestly,
what's that?
Who does that, honestly?
I don't know. And I'm boisterous enough that I let them know that I don't appreciate them eating up my work time. But they were giving me a hard time the other day because I don't have a camera on that computer. And they're like, why don't you ever turn on your computer or your camera? I'm like, I don't have one on here. Well, can't you put one on there? I'm like, nope. I'm like, every camera that I had is in use somewhere else. So what I did was I installed OBS and did the virtual cam, and then I just have a picture of myself like this.
Nice.
That picture just sits up there the whole time through the whole meeting.
You need to put, like, turn it into an animated GIF where the eyes blink.
Why? I thought about like, you know, recording myself like sitting here going, like I was bored, and then, you know, I could run it over there.
Doing a few of these, like.
I'd have to make it 2 hours though, so it doesn't loop. Felipe asks, has anyone used Wise Camera and Octoprint? That's a great question because I'd like to know that as well.
That's what Joel was using, right?
A Wise?
Wasn't he? That's one of those wireless cams, right?
Well, they're wireless, but they're not directly IP addressable. You have to use the Wise software. And somebody might have written a plugin, but
That'd be a wise decision.
it would be. I mean, the Wise cameras aren't bad. They're cheap. They're like $25 and they work well. And I've got one pointing out every side of my house so that I can see outside during the day, but
Just to make sure that outside stays away from you.
that's right. That way, if it gets real peoply out there, I know not to go outside.
People are the worst. And now the temperature's perfectly stable. Of course, me moving it somehow maybe solved the problem.
Maybe something was loose, bad connection somewhere. Mr. Butcham says you can't use Wise and Octoprint together yet. Tom Lama said, I couldn't get a Wise to work, but then it's me. No, it's not you. Bob F. says there is RTSP firmware for the Wise cams, but does it work on the newer ones? And the reason I asked that is because I looked into it and I was so excited to get it loaded, and it wouldn't work on the cameras that I have because they were I don't know if they're the newest ones. I don't know if they've come out with one since then, but hello, Sean Butler. I have to cough, and I don't have a mute button today. I guess I have that mute button. I just don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out when I'm coughing.
That's fair. Nobody wants that.
So the infection and swelling is starting to come back in my tooth. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get into the dentist this week, which is really scary to me. I mean, the dentist is always scary, but I just want to get my tooth fixed and not get the COVID. Octoprint doesn't support RTSP. Oh, that doesn't sound good.
The control box was too far forward. It didn't have enough slack to bring the bed all the way to the back of the limit where the limit switch is. My bad, but I'll blame it on somebody else.
But you didn't. You had the chance and you didn't do it.
I know, I'm slipping. My Canadianism's showing.
So the first step inside of the second set of steps. Well, I guess it's the second step. The first one's make sure that you read the first one, but they want you to dry fit the whole box. That seems like a lot of work.
Make sure it all goes together, then take it apart, and then put it together. But this time for real.
As of right now, I just kind of want to know what all these parts are. Sean Butler said it was his fault.
So now it's perfectly stable.
So, you know, here in the U.S., the government has sent out these stimulus checks. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, they're doing similar stuff here.
So I chuckle every time that I'm looking through the Facebook and I see somebody post like, I got an extra $1,200 to spend. What printer should I get?
Oh, hard.
I mean, the money was technically given out to stimulate the U.S. economy, and pretty much every printer you're going to buy is coming from somewhere else.
That is true. You can't buy a printer bot anymore. Can you still buy a Lulz bot?
Another company ended up buying them, but I don't know if they're still selling stuff.
Sorry about the squeaking. I don't really know where to go with this. It feels like it's got to be a loose connection, but I've replaced the stuff. Like, and the fact that the bed does it too. I don't know if I should start a print and just see if it starts doing it again, or...
Yes, absolutely. Carl said, did either of you guys see the pic of the spool cart I built to compete with Pooch? I did not.
I did not see it either.
He said they had it up on F3D PCH, which unfortunately I missed all of that. I was watching Live PD.
I don't end up making it to many streams outside of the stuff I do myself because my wife and I have figured out a delicate balancing act in terms of how much time I spend on 3D printing stuff. So, she loves me. I don't entirely think she loves the hobby. She loves the people she's met because of the hobby. She's particularly fond of your wife.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that'd probably be why you married her.
Yeah. Well, you know, like we had this guest speaker for church service today. I've been watching church on Facebook, but he was talking about all the conditions of this, you know, being quarantined, and how like a lot of people's relationships are suffering. And he's like, you know, if you're with your significant other during this and everything is good, then you were probably good going into it. But you know, if you're married to somebody that you don't quite like, and then I'm thinking, why would you have married that person?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's quite a few people out there that liked somebody at a time.
Mr. Butcham, that is incorrect. That $500 belongs specifically to Carl. He just got it because of his daughter. Don't be saying it belongs to the children.
Yeah, don't let that get into their heads.
When they announced that it was coming, I told Xander, I said, listen, when that money comes, you can have 10% or $50, whichever one is lesser. And then they announced the $500 for the child, and I thought, well, you're getting $50 either way, kid.
It's just the math.
No daughter, no $500. That's true, but that $500 is to help, like, feed and clothe the child, and you know, pay for the child's 3D printing habit.
Yeah, your kid has an expensive 3D printing habit.
Holy cow, Carl! All right, I'll get this pulled up.
What's that?
His spool racer.
Oh, do display.
Yeah. I just had to look at that.
That's a pretty sleek spool racer right there.
That
I think
is,
there's some illegal mods on that.
That's it's pretty impressive. Chances are, though, Pooch is going to crash into you and damage it.
Yep. It is the way of the pooch. It's called getting pooched.
That $500 is pain and suffering for having to be home with our children.
That seems fair. I heard children are the worst.
So we found out yesterday that Florida kids are not going back to school for the year, which we kind of figured that was coming. It'd be stupid to send them back to school for 3 weeks. But we didn't tell Zach. He didn't find out until today when something was said during the church service about it. And he's like, yeah. And we're like, no, you still have to do school. And he's like, oh.
Look at me. I'm your teacher now.
That's the reason it has a bed. Mike will stand in the back with an axe to keep Pooch away.
This is BattleBots meets spool racing.
That could get really, really interesting.
So what's everybody else in chat working on these days? I need to steal some projects from people, and I haven't been able to steal from Glenn in a while.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, there was a time that no matter what project that I had come up with, James was working on the same project, and vice versa. Like without talking to each other.
Contact me, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm designing this, and I ran into this snag. What would you do? Or what do you think?" And I would respond with LOL and then a screenshot of me working on my variation of the same thing.
Yeah, and it happened a lot. So
the best was, even though I never built mine, we were both designing large form factor printers at the same time, and he sent me an early rendition of the FK1, and I said, "Well, that's pretty cool, but I don't think I do it like this. I do it like this." And he said, "Oh, I'm jealous that you came up with that answer that quickly." I'm like, "No, I've been working on basically the same thing. I've already thought this. I've had time to think this through."
My favorite though was the video where when you went in to get the file, you had a folder called like ideas
stolen from Glenn or something like that. Or...
But it was so like it was up there so quick that you really had to pay attention to see it.
I think that was the Flying Bear Shine or the Flying Bear Ghost review, one of those two.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember it being in there. It was pretty funny. All right, so is it pronounced Ollie or Ol? Or you're going to have to help me. O-L-L-E, because I'm going to butcher it.
He's still calibrating his tool changer.
And as I understand it, that's probably like the biggest hurdle with the tool changer is calibration.
If it takes Chris Riley more than 5 minutes to do something, we're all in trouble.
10 kilos of filament. Holy cow. For his spool racer.
Well, good job.
Tristan says he's still making parts to finish his custom Core XY. Sean Butler said, I'm waiting on printer parts and trying to fix the Octobox. What is an Octobox?
Oh, he built a box that houses a Raspberry Pi and a bunch of electrical relays and stuff like that. And then he'd written some stuff so basically you could kill the power, like flat out kill the power to a printer from inside Octoprint. So like if it was thermally running away, if you couldn't get it to respond or whatever, you had a kill switch.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I promised him I'd build one and do a video on it. And I've been real good at keeping my promises about everything lately. So
Ollie said Ollie is fine, which probably means it's pronounced a little bit different, but my my dialect won't allow for
it. Yeah. They're looking at it going, he's never going to get it right anyways.
It's kind of like Martin. Every time Martin, he's like, it's not really Martin. And he says it, and it's like, yeah, Martin. No, it's, and he says it again. I'm like, yeah, Martin. He's like, no.
You're getting the inflections all wrong.
Carl said that thing was printed on the White Knight with a 1 mil nozzle and a 0.4 layer height. All Jesse PLA. Only thing left is the shield for the front. What was seen there was just a template.
That is a cool project.
Tom Butler said Martine, but it's not. It's you'll have to hear him say it again. There's a little difference in there.
There's a difference in his inflection.
I designed my first parts fan, an enclosure with fan for my Raspberry Pi SKI boards, and a nice case for my TFT 35. I always love when you sit down to design something and then like you print it out and you get to hold it in your hand and you're like, it's one thing if you downloaded something and printed it to be like, oh, this didn't exist until I wanted it. But when you design it, it didn't exist until you thought about making it exist. And that's always amazing to me. Marcus says, people even have trouble with my first name. They say it like there's an I in it. But it's Marcus, right?
They probably say Marcus instead of Marcus.
Marcus.
Marcus. So this CR10 is a clone of a CR10. They've made some changes for better or worse, mostly for worse. For example, this with the eccentric nuts is as tight as I can get this carriage to ride on here. So not great. And the carriage is just slightly enough different that I can't seem to get the 3D printed pieces that I've printed off to fit the E3D V6 to sit properly. I can't get it to, it's supposed to hook onto the side here. Not that the camera angle is great for that, but, and it don't.
So is like the plate thicker?
I'm not entirely sure what the difference is, but it's frustrating. I'm just going to bolt it on the way it is and hope for the best.
Oh, that sounds like a good plan.
I'm probably going to end up ordering an actual CR10 carriage to replace this one with, and that'll solve a lot of my problems.
Yeah. Or just design your own to fit that one.
Well, I can do that, but I do find that 3D printed carriages aren't always the best substitute for the metal.
Well, no, but I'm saying like kind of like what that is, how it goes on to, like leave that aluminum plate on there.
Oh, but my problem is the fact that there's so much play in here. Like tightening up as much as I can still free spin the wheels.
Oh, all right.
That's a bigger issue than this because I can get this bolted down tightly and like the hot end will maybe be on a little bit of an angle or whatever, but as long as it's not on an angle like tilted forward or backwards, I don't really care.
3D Maker Kid has joined us.
Hello.
Felipe said, I designed a 1-gang box for a desk mount. I'm printing 14 of them for a project this week. Gang box being for electrical. Ollie said, I designed a GoPro camera mount and a mount for a Raspberry Pi to bolt onto the extrusions of the tool changer. Still waiting for the T-nuts I ordered for them. Yeah, everything is just taking so long to get here when you order stuff now.
This is true. I can't get around there. I don't think that there's a way it's actually going to happen.
Look at Carl bragging. I still get my stuff from Printed Solid in a day. Because it takes 2 days to get all the way down here. For HDMI VGA audio cables. That's cool. Sorry, that was Felipe. Bennett said he blew 2 fuses on his SKR today. I have to wait a week to get back up and printing shields. Okay, so a couple of questions on that. Do you know why the fuses blew? Because fuses don't just blow because. And then the other question is, what type of fuses are they? Are they like a regular bladed fuse? Could you go to the auto parts store and buy some so that you don't have to wait a week? Just don't touch anybody or get breathed on. Tristan said to you, James, I found my TiVo, the concentric nuts would wear against the metal carriage and not sit flat. It meant the wheels would always be at an angle and not tighten properly.
Huh. Well, the wheels look like they're fairly, well, actually, they're not really showing much wear. There isn't a ton of print time on this printer. It's bad. Like, they made changes to this printer that make no sense. Well, maybe they do. Maybe I don't understand the reason behind it. On this side here, the eccentric nut isn't here. It's on the bottom one in the corner here. So you tighten it, and you can tighten the spaces between these two wheels, but then this one free spins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't really put any thought into it and just did it.
Yep. They're like, oh, people with popular 3D printers that use that frame have use the aluminum extrusion have eccentric nuts. Well, we have to put eccentric nuts on ours too. Just stick it wherever it'll go.
Steven asked if I had ever seen Josh's Failcore. He finally has it all rebuilt and printing. What a complicated machine. I did not ever see that, so I'm not really sure, but congratulations on having it running. Sean Butler said, that's okay. I get my Amazon Prime stuff in just 5 weeks.
Just 5 weeks. Wow. Deal with the devil there.
Give me the board, man. Give me the board. So we moved Xander's desk. Again, he was on the other side of the staircase, but now he sits in front of me. And while he was streaming, or no, I guess you weren't streaming. He was just online with his friends last night, but I went and got the whiteboard and wrote this and put it behind him. And it took him almost 24 hours to even realize that I did it. And this was.
It does smell like stinky farts, though. I think I sent you a text message like that, didn't I?
No, it's my board.
No, I'd like that back, please. How do I erase it?
There's your random Xander sighting.
It's Xander's Thing Thursday. Hey.
Ben said the fuse is blue because I forgot to put heat shrink back on solder joints for the heater cartridge. They're just regular mini blade fuses, considering tearing one out of my dad's car. No, don't do that. Actually, the car might have a few extras when you pull the fuse panel cover. Sometimes there's extra ones in there, but make sure you're using the right size, the right rating.
And tell your dad you're doing it before.
And yeah, let your dad know that you're doing that. But again, you should be able to get those at the local auto parts store or even a Walmart if you want to brave a Walmart right now.
I wouldn't brave a Walmart right now.
Oh, God, no. I had to go into Walmart to get Easter stuff, and it was awful. It was so awful. Of course, going into Walmart on a regular basis is awful.
Yep.
What? This is the rep box, that holds the filament. This is the rep box. These are my custom end panels.
Wait, you're the Fun King?
I am.
Wow.
Now the cat's out of the bag, man.
You should try doing that, but in 3D.
What's that?
You should try doing that, but in 3D.
In 3D?
Yeah.
So Joel is streaming at the same time we are. Yeah.
Joel's the enemy now.
Hurts my numbers, man. I'm gonna send him an angry worded email.
But send it anonymously.
Yes, it does. We're at 34 viewers right now. We're usually at like 60.
Some last week. That could be though because people got to know me last week and now they're not tuning in anymore.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, that guy's coming on again. Forget it.
This guy jumped the shark.
Man, your handwriting is atrocious.
What was that?
Away from me.
Sub to
Go away, I'm
PewDiePie.
live streaming.
Okay, everybody, sub to PewDiePie on YouTube. That's what that said.
Was Xander in uniform? He's wearing a Prusa shirt. It was his uniform at Earth 2018. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he did a little bit at Murph too. So, but now that Shane's no longer with him. Oh, Felipe said to check my Twitters.
Let's tweet about that. I
Well,
have.
It's pretty
I'm
cool. I'm
considering.
gonna screen share that. So that's what Felipe's making right there.
That's fancy.
That is fancy.
I've got a spare all copper heat block from an E3D. I'm considering replacing the generic crappy one that's in here with that. Because then I can use a cartridge style thermistor instead of. I absolutely hate these dealies here.
Yeah.
I was about to try and heat it and just realized that I just ripped the thermistor out. So it's going to heat for about 3 seconds and then scream at me.
Aaron Seeger asks, so is it a touchy subject, but what happened to the fun in the country basement? It's not a touchy subject. It's a subject that I will speak openly about, and that is that Walter
Had enough of him.
from Country 3D and Chris from Chris Riley from Chris's Basement are both quitters. Quitters. You guys are quitters. No, it really just came down to time. Chris Riley is a crazy busy guy, and
It's like the entire 3D printing community would fall apart if he weren't around. Even
Well-
I was asking him questions this week, and I'm brilliant.
yeah, well, and he spends, I mean, multiple hours. I think he said today 3 hours a day answering emails and YouTube comments. So, I mean, he's really a busy guy. Plus, and he probably won't admit this, but I think like he was watching his YouTube career go, and we were kind of dragging.
You guys
him.
are anchors.
Yeah, I think we were dragging him down a little bit, but and then Walter decided that he was okay with just not doing it anymore because he wanted to have more weekends to go to Disney, and that was right before they said, "Hey, we're closing Disney." So, but no, Aaron, it's not a touchy subject at all. The three of us are still perfectly good friends. There was no hard feelings about any bit of it. And no offense to James, because I love James. He is my brother from another mother, but I do miss those shows. I miss getting a ride on Chris Riley's coattails. Oh my gosh, there's Chris Riley in the chat.
It's true. Chris is supposed to drag you all the way up to the top.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, he said quitters. Yes, agreed. John Mac. Hi, John Mac. John Mac said, I guess they're not watching chat. No, Chris is here. I didn't know. No, listen, there's nothing that I would say about Chris behind his back that I wouldn't say to his face. And that's pretty much everybody in the whole planet, unless I'm really just trying to save your feelings. But I'm not two-faced. I won't talk behind your back if I won't say it to you.
I'll
Which is
talk
why I
back
say all those,
right to your face.
that's why I say all those mean things about Carl. Carl said, well, we already knew Walter was a quitter. Stargate what? Walter's actually about 6 hours from Disney. So it's a weekend for him. So
Okay. We're gonna see how this goes.
I need more monitors on this machine. I'm trying to look at the Repcord assembly guide, and then I end up pulling up everything else, and I'm trying to not miss chat as well. Carl said, "Don't worry, Glenn. I can take it as well as I dish it out." I know, that's why I pick on you, Carl, because I know you can take it.
Well, why do you pick on me then?
Oh, because I love you like a brother.
I thought it was because I was Canadian.
Well, I wasn't going to say that publicly. God, ever since I made that comment about the stupid maple leaf like that, and then didn't follow it up with a chuckle, man, I took heat for that.
Well,
You
maybe try not being such a jerk face next time. I don't know.
you Canadians and that maple leaf, man, that's like, whew. And I don't remember who it was that gave me heat about it, but he was like, well, maybe I should say something about your stupid stars and stripes or something like that. I'm like, well, I didn't really mean it. Like,
We all know you meant it. It's fine.
now I got the seal kit with this, but I don't see the seals.
I've got my Olsen Ruby torque wrench here. Look at that.
That's fancy. That's the Matter Hackers one.
I like it.
I have the original black one. And then I have the blue Matter Hackers one. I just don't know where it is.
You haven't hacked enough matter lately.
Oh, I used to have it up there on the shelf. I don't know. It's around here somewhere. Man, I got up yesterday morning and came up here and decided that yesterday was going to be the day that I moved Xander's desk and started shifting everything around. And like, this area was a little bit of a disaster beforehand, but now it's really a disaster. And I hauled so much crap out of here. Amazon boxes.
I was looking forward to. We have a garbage bag restriction here, so you can have maximum 3 per week per household.
Okay.
And a week and a half ago, they announced for the remainder of the COVID-19 situation, we're rescinding the restriction. Please don't abuse it. Now, I went, that's fantastic. I'm like, I'm going to go an extra bag a week, and I'm going to start gutting out all the stuff that I have to get rid of and everything because I can't haul anything to the dump because the dump is closed. 1 week, so they did it for the 1 week, and then 2 days later they announced due to excessive abuse, we're no longer doing it.
Oh.
Well, I go outside and it's like this guy's got like 5 or 6 bags of garbage and 2 major appliances, and it's like they didn't do this so that you can clean your house. Which, granted, I'm just admitted that I was going to use that so I could get some extra cleaning done, but I was going to do it in moderation.
Right, exactly. You weren't going to abuse the system.
Yeah, they didn't do it so that they didn't do it so you can clean your house. That they did it so that the people that are working from home and have extra stuff that they're dealing with and all the other stuff don't have to worry about trying to keep within that garbage limit. You know, if an extra bag of garbage is going to help you, then so be it. It lasted 1 week. So
that's sad.
Sad pandas, dude.
Uncle Ron said he just got his YouTube notification that we were streaming.
Oh,
Thanks,
okay.
YouTube.
Thanks, Obama. Is that still funny to say? Thanks, Obama?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's still used all the time. Even though everything is now Trump's fault, but we won't go there. Tristan said he just realized that he doesn't have any more M3x8 bolts. That is a sad problem to have.
Game over, man.
Which, by the way, here in the United States, if you need a good source for metric hardware, Bell Metric is awesome. And that's like no sponsor. That's a freebie giveaway right there. That's where I get all my metric hardware from when I need bulk. If I just need one or two, I just get it from the local hardware shop. But Old Curmudgeon said, Wisecam's Chinese backdoor to your network. That's why mine are on a separate network.
That's why I only buy Huawei devices.
That's right. There's no backdoors into those.
Only front doors you don't know about.
24/7 Hinky said the postal service from China to Ireland is still fast. Ordered a big Tree Tech V13, only took 9 days. The thing that's weird about when you order from China and that people don't really like understand, at least stuff coming here to the United States, you might order something and it's on the move the next day, or you might order something and it doesn't move for 2 weeks. And that's because they have to fill a whole entire shipping container. So until your stuff gets processed into a container, it might get into that container, but that container is not full and it might sit there for 2 weeks before it moves. So, and that's the big hard part. So. Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm missing the seals for this unless it's different, because I have these seals, but I don't have that plastic flap.
Oh, there it is. Saying I dropped my heat sink and heat brake, and then I couldn't find them because everything that hits the floor immediately disappears. It's under my chair. Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get very far on this thing anyway without printing the parts.
That's okay. We're halfway through the stream.
Well, I'll make sure that I print the parts this week and then have them ready for next week.
We'll trick Chris Riley into coming back just by inviting him to be a guest host every single week. Do you think he'd fall for that?
I doubt
it. Not still in chat and heard it, right?
He's kind of a sharp guy. I think he'd pick up on it right away. Uncle Ron said I got pooched. Hello, Paul Cumber.
I can't do this all on my own. I'm no Superman. I'm just saying just enough to make sure that you lose the revenue from the stream.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Well,
all like 6 cents.
If you don't have to worry about it, then you don't have to worry about it. You know, that's.
I threw a lifesaver to you.
Hey, Paul. I'm really bad at monitoring chat, but I seem to notice when people say my name, so maybe I'm just, like full of myself. I seem like the type of person that's full of myself, right?
Sure. Chris Riley's joining Joel for next Sunday's stream. Oh, funny guy.
That was the real reason he ended this. It's like he's just waiting the proper amount of time so people don't put it together, but it's really because him and Joel are planning to start streaming together.
He wanted to go find somebody bigger.
Nerdy times in the basement.
No, it's definitely not in this tube. So I'm gonna read forward on this manual and see if maybe that seal is like the regular seal, but because I bought the seal kit, I don't get that one. I get these foam ones instead.
I'm trying to keep this thermistor within decent enough contact with the heater block so it doesn't trigger thermal runaway, because none of this is the way it's staying. I just need to unsee some screws.
Matt, Jake from State Farm says, James. And then the next one says, acknowledge me.
Hi, Jake.
It's Matt.
No, I'm calling him Jake. Doesn't matter. How's it going, Matt from State Farm? Who is Jake?
I don't like the new Jake from State Farm. Like the first one they did on Super Bowl, they used the original guy, and then all of a sudden now it's just a new guy, and he's supposed to be Jake from State Farm. It doesn't work for me.
Like a good neighbor, stay over there. COVID.
You got to chuckle out of Xander for that one.
What I just said?
Yeah. I've been doing good, Paul. How have you been doing? Hope everybody out there is staying healthy, practicing your social distancing.
Well, I have been eating more.
I think everybody has been.
Oh, no. Well, that sucks.
What was that?
That was my driver set, and I think it freed up all of the actual pieces when it hit.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'd hope so. I hope if it falls, it's not going to just stay together.
The ones that fell out are the ones I need. Like, literally, look, all the extra stuff. Here's where the hex drivers are. You see the holes?
The ones that you've used so that they're not so tight.
Yeah, they're not in there as tight.
Sean Gould said, yep, Chris Riley wanted to hang out with someone with talent.
Chris Riley's got enough talent for 6 people. It's just his poor back needed a rest from all the carrying. Okay, well.
Can you hear me?
What?
I think we lost internet connection momentarily.
A little bit of a hiccup?
Yeah, it said that my internet was unstable. But what was I reading? Aaron Seeger said, James, I did finally score a slight used arcade one-up Street Fighter for $50 and converted it to RetroPie. Still nothing like your 3D machine, though.
That sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty good to me indeed.
Well, Curmudgeon said he's ready for this crap to be over. I think we all are. Even though it hasn't really affected me, like, with my lifestyle. Sergio said he's heard I'm a pro at social distancing. Yes, every day. I've been practicing my whole life. The guys at work think that it's kind of a joke when I say that nothing's really changed for me. The only thing is I don't get to go out for lunch. John Mack said Matt from Jake Farm. Hey, is that a bingo square? Again, if you guys want me to bring back the bingo, I will make new squares for the new stream, because obviously Walter and Chris squares don't really work anymore, but John Mack said I was frozen. Yeah, it like the video completely dropped out on my side. It went to black screens. Oddly enough, though, I could still hear sound. Like I could still hear you making noise, James, which was kind of weird. But
I do make a lot of noise.
well, I must be hearing it like from outside.
I'm quite loud. You can probably hear it from all the way over there.
Uncle Ron said internet's fine, user is unstable.
Hey, I resemble that remark. Come on.
Italian Gold said, just got some non-Fun King Yellow PLA. That's because there's not an official yellow Fun King Yellow PLA. The closest one is 3D Fuel.
It's funny, we were talking about what do you do when you've got a hex screw that's got its head stripped, and one of these grub screws, I can't get it to come out.
Now you can show everybody what to do about it.
I don't know how to get the grub screw out. That's going to be...
Well, that's what he was... Well, I mean, that's what he was having an issue with, was the one for the heater cartridge.
This is probably why I didn't end up using this one in the first place.
I mean, some of them are grub, and like some of the hot ends have a regular screw, and then some of them are the little tiny grubs inside.
Yep.
Try a standard size. I'm trying to remember what size that was.
So the thing is, none of my hex drivers, like the standard ones, are small enough to get into there.
That's what happens when you live in a metric country.
I have the Imperial ones as well. Imperial Star Destroyer. I'm all full of ideas until I have to actually use one of them. And it's like, well, guess I'll just give up.
Carl said, nothing has changed for me. I still go to work every day. Only difference is I get to look like a ninja when I go to the supermarket.
Oh, there we go.
Paul Cumber wants to know where's the pizza. Just funny because Xander just asked me a little bit ago if we could order pizza.
And you said, of course.
And I said, we just had KFC for lunch.
Well, that's a good balance then.
Bennett wants to know if either of us has ever used a Hemera.
I have not.
I have not either. I haven't been blessed to get one just yet. Once I'm done doing the extruder design to put the mosquito hot in on the FK1, then I'll look into putting one of those on the FK1. But in the meantime, nopes.
Are there any prints you've done on the FK1 that you've been truly like impressed by yet?
Is there any what?
Any prints you've done on the FK1 where you've been like impressed by the results?
Prints on the FK1. That's funny.
I'm so bad at dropping things.
Got a case of the dropsies.
Whoopsie poopsie.
No, I mean, like I've printed a gazillion Makeys on there, the little Makeys.
Yep.
And a couple of Benchies, but I mean the prints come out fantastic. Since I got rid of the whole wobbly pulley, which that was a topic on Twitter this week too.
Oh yeah, I saw that with 3D Print World, right?
I don't know who it started with, but I know Carl had chimed in and sucked me into that conversation. But it is really difficult, and I'm gonna have to try the actual, like the good pulleys and see if it. I mean, I bought a bag of the cheap ones, and I just went through them until I found one that wasn't off centered. But you'd think that they would be a little bit more careful. So
you thought wrong.
Yeah. Carl said the FK1 has some serious catching up to do. The White Knight or Squire has been printing almost every day since Smurf last year. Well, I mean, I didn't actually build the FK1 to print anything. I just wanted to see if I could do it.
So joke's on you.
Yeah. Why would I print on that one? I don't print on any of the ones that I have.
I was so mad. I spent all that time before the overhaul of the PX Malian trying to get it to print well in its original stock configuration by adding additional cooling and trying to reinforce the frame and a bunch of other stuff. You know, I never got to the point where I was like, yeah, I would trust this to print something I need to use. And then, like, literally the first completed print I got out of it after doing the overhaul without any additional calibration or anything was better than anything I got out of it after hours of work. It's the way it goes. That's just the way it is.
Carl said, but you haven't done it until it actually prints an object using its full capabilities. Well, that's going to be impossible for you, Carl.
Oh, checkmate!
That would be infinity, man.
And beyond.
But no, actually, the full capacity is changing. It's getting taller, which means that I'll be able to go more than 1,000% benchy. Paul Cumber said you dropped your pocket, James.
I dropped the topic?
You dropped your pocket.
Oh.
That old joke where you point down at somebody and you go, oh, you dropped your pocket.
I bought Kayleen the pasta attachment for her KitchenAid mixer. So now we're having homemade linguine for supper tonight.
Ooh, that sounds good.
She made homemade lasagna last week, which was excellent. So
Oh, if it wasn't for this social distancing thing, I'd come over for dinner.
you would be invited. You know what I'm actually running out of that I haven't been able to replenish easily? Cable ties.
Well, here I order them from Monoprice. About, I guess it was 3 years ago now, I ordered 8,000 4-inch zip ties for a specific purpose. But then I didn't end up using them all, so I have 4-inch zip ties forever. Paul Cumber wants to know, is Xander having Xander's thing Thursday?
Never again. He is a quitter.
He's a quitter like Chris Riley and Walter is.
If you want him, he'll be at, well, not at Disney because nobody's at Disney.
No, it will happen again. It will happen again.
Whether he likes it or not.
Right. It's just really been a scheduling issue lately, so. It's all the fault of COVID-19. It's the virus's fault. Yeah, we really thought Zach was going to be upset about not getting to go back to school to see his friends. And
oh, this is good. I just got a message from my mother. My grandmother, who is 99 years old, is in a nursing home, and one of the employees there just tested positive for COVID-19.
wow.
So she's like, so they've lined her up to be tested.
Your grandmother is 99?
She is.
That is amazing, dude. I hope to see 80s.
I think I'll be lucky to hit 60, but we'll see how it goes.
Uncle Ron said he'll be there in 9 hours for dinner.
Good luck getting across the border, but I mean,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I guess if you do it, I have to feed you.
They're not letting any of us stinky Americans in right now. Mainly not if you go to the French part.
Quebec currently has, I think, over half of the cases for all of Canada.
Now I'm going to get in trouble for making jokes about French Canada.
Yeah, leave the Quebecois alone, please.
Carl said he just finished grilling 10 pounds of teriyaki chicken before the stream started. That's a lot of chicken, man. Uncle Ron said, can you 3D print a zip tie? You can actually. Somebody's done it, but they're not very strong if you don't use the right material.
I'm trying to decide where I want to link this in because it needs to be joined up, obviously. So the reason cable ties came up right now is that I've got cable ties all the way around here that I have to trim off to be able to get into the wiring for the thermistor. And I got to decide how far back I want to run the wire in for it. I'm probably just going to wire it right here, TBH. Oh, but the other problem is I don't know if this wire is actually good. If it's maybe damaged somewhere and that's what's giving me the thermal issues.
Possible. Might have a break in it somewhere.
Indecision is always my problem.
So Michael Cassell said his wife's grandmother passed away a year and a half ago at 98, which that's an amazing run as well. But oddly enough, right after that, Uncle Ron said Dukes of Hazzard style. So if you read those two things together, that puts a spin on the story.
She died jumping a ravine while playing the Dixie horn.
Uncle Ron said, James, do you have a box of Cat 5 or Cat 6? Use the strands from that to hold stuff in place until you get more zip ties.
I'm just going to use electrical tape and wrap it around everything. Hope for the best.
3D printing and painting is in the house. Yeah, so again, we're taking suggestions for a good stream name. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with Fun King 3D or Print and Play. Probably the more generic, the better.
That way, when one of us ups and quits, we don't have to rebrand everything.
Exactly.
Do you know what I think the problem was? I just found something. I think I know what the problem with this was.
What's that?
So, on the CR10,
Right.
you've got these cables that screw into the back, right? It's got
Right, those aviation connectors that suck.
Yep. So I just turned it around and it was loose like this. And if it's intermittent thermistor contact where it's not making a good connection,
Which those connections don't generally make a great contact anyway.
Yeah. Ain't that a kick in the head?
Well, that would be wonderful if that's all it is.
Well, except for I've already committed to replacing that crappy thermistor with, you know what I mean.
Well, it's
But I guess technically, if it's just that, I can just trim the wire here, solder it, and crimp it so it's not connected, so it's not going to get any stress on the solder point.
You just went from repair to preventive maintenance.
That's right. Okay, well, I need to put power to this again and then start drinking.
Sean Gold said if Walter were here, he'd mention you've already seen 80, the 1880s.
That joke's so old. Like,
I do miss all the old jokes. The challenge of waiting as long as possible to get them in there. You know, I always pick on Walter for being old. I always picked on James for being Canadian until I took heat for it.
I forgive you because that's just what Canadians do.
That's right. You're supposed to apologize to me for me picking on you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, eh? How about I buy you a beer?
Well, and then, like people, there's a lot of people out there that don't know that I'm a big fan of Canada. I used to vacation there and thoroughly enjoyed being in that country.
Thoroughly enjoyed what?
Being in that country.
Beans. We don't have lots of beans.
You got beans.
Beans, the magical fruit.
As soon as I got there, I had to go to the store and find craft dinner.
KD. Gotta be KD.
I was trying to figure out why the heck you guys can't just call it macaroni and cheese like it's actually named.
Well, because we at least acknowledge the fact that it doesn't actually contain any actual cheese. It's just a dinner of the crafty persuasion.
Yeah, we the first year that we ever went up there, it was my friend and I. We went to a truck show in London, Ontario, and we stayed at a hotel, and I don't even remember what kind of hotel it was, but it was really nice, and with the conversion and stuff, it was really cheap. So we were like, we're just going to vacation here every year. So we drove up a couple different times. Michael Cassell said she definitely was a hazard to Dukes. Her and Granny from Beverly Hillbillies could have been sisters. She was a draftsman for Piper Aircraft during World War II and then went and became an LPN after the war. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, during the war, my grandmother worked in a manufacturing facility making parts for bombs.
So she was the bomb, is what you're saying.
That's right.
I'm still within earshot. I will just not be on camera for a second. I'm looking for other things I can jam into the screw, try and get it to come loose.
Whatever.
Whatever, you don't need. It's not like you begged me to be on the show. If anything, it's behind the bake, right?
I miss the days of Xander sitting here with me during streams and reading the chat for me so I could actually work on stuff and not miss stuff.
Well, he's a quitter. What can you do?
He's a quitter too. Everybody around me is a quitter. Bennett said, "Oh crap, that could be why I'm having thermal runaway." That is true, buddy. Could just be a bad connection. But so Bennett, 3D Maker Kid is having thermal runaway on his CR10 as well. And I had him, it only happens when the cooling fan kicks on, the part cooling fan. Okay. And I had him undo the part cooling fan and strap it up out of the way so it could still kick on but not actually blow on the part.
Yep.
And then it didn't fail. Then it didn't get thermal runaway.
Weird.
So I don't think
it's being overpowered, obviously.
What's that?
So it's being overpowered, obviously.
Yeah, I think the fan is overpowering the nozzle. I don't think it's a loose connection for you, Bennett. Marcus asked what I'm working on. This is actually a rep box, the rep box 2. And if you're not familiar with the rep box, you can either Google it or you can go to repcord.com. In fact, I can be nice and pull it up because I can share my screen. Oh, wow, that's funky. Let's try that again. Share screen. We want this one. Share. Nope. It's like going back and forth between the chat and the Well, you can kind of see that that's a rep box. I don't know why it was doing that, but yeah, supposedly, and I don't think this one does, but the 2.1, the newest one that just started shipping this year, will hold 6 full rolls, 6 full kilos of filament. But the reason that I wanted this was because I have a Mosaic palette, thanks to Mitch from Mitch 3D. And I want to use that to feed into the FK1, I mean, for multi-material, but mainly for big prints so that I can have 5 rolls.
A bunch of tiny rolls stuck together.
Yeah, so I can just continue on and I don't have to be there when it runs out. But if you order a rep box right now, it won't ship. They have suspended all shipping operations to focus on Operation Shields Up. They are making face shields for the people on the front lines.
Which is pretty much as worthy an endeavor as you can get into right now.
I truly hope, though, that when all of this mess is over, that the world continues to realize that the essential employees are not the actors and the sport players and, you know, but it's the doctors, the nurses, the guy that works at McDonald's, the amazing team at Jersey Mike's that makes my sandwich. The construction estimators.
This entire stream is me just trying to get this one screw out.
Well, it's me trying to figure out this rep box. I'm not really following the directions now because I can't do all the steps without the printed part, so I'm just kind of jumping around.
You're just assuming you know better than the guy that wrote the instructions and hope.
Oh yeah, I know more than Pooch every day. It's no big deal. Martin said, "We don't care. We don't care if you walk away from the camera. We're all focused on Glenn anyway."
Ouch.
Corey Mack says, "Love the rep box. I have 3 of them." Yeah, well, originally when I went to order this, I wanted it for back here because I usually leave a roll of filament on both of these machines. So I was going to put it back here, and I still might. But then I have to redo this back wall anyway, which I really want to. I want to come up with something really cool for that wall. Thank you, Paul. That's very kind of you, brother. Paul Cumber says he's never had a Canadian beer. I've never had any beer.
Thermal runaway.
That's really annoying. Uncle Ron wants to know if you can swap a single roll of filament on a Mosaic. Why would you want to swap a single roll?
I think more like is the question like if you had 6 going and it was going to take more than 6, it's like when roll 1.
Oh, like a continuation. So like you could have 6 of the same color, same material. Yes, absolutely. When one runs out, it'll switch to the other one. Carl says
I don't know what's up with this bolt, but like even when I've got it set up so that it's not like spinning in the head or whatever, I just can't get it to move. I don't know.
Carl says very disappointed the pallet doesn't have a recovery mode when a splice fails. Sucks right now when it fails. You have no choice but to start over. And he said, "Very well said, sir." I'm assuming that was my rant about the essential employees. I'm a little bit behind, but Sean Gold said the real essential people are those with 3D printers, obviously.
It's funny because it's true, I guess.
Michael Cassell says he's been sewing face masks all weekend. That's what my wife's been doing. She's got to be pretty close to 400 or 500 now.
Everybody seems to be doing what they can.
John Butler said, "Giant number 9 on white, Mike's way, no tomatoes." See, I'm a 13 guy. I like the number 13. Mike's way minus the oil and vinegar, add mayonnaise. Oh yeah. And then I ordered the Big Kahuna cheesesteak the other night, which comes with peppers and onions and mushrooms and double cheese, extra cheese on it. And then I ordered extra meat on it. And I was really excited. And then when it arrived here via DoorDash, it wasn't the sandwich I ordered. It was the buffalo chicken cheesesteak. And then I was really disappointed. So I called them and they refunded my money. I just like how fresh their ingredients are. Paul Comer wants to know, is there a place to send your leftover filament? How much filament are you talking about, Paul? I mean, if it's just like the little bits at the end of the roll, you can put it in the recycle or just chuck it. Unless somebody out there wants it. Old curmudgeon said, "I work in essential industry, power generation, transmission, but haven't had a check since mid-February. That's ridiculous." Tim Wood said, "Joel's printing a plate full of Joel bots on the printer build he's doing. Imagine Chris doing benchies like that. He would have his own Navy in an hour." All right, bye, Carl. Thanks for being here, brother.
You take it easy. Or don't. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do.
Have a crappy afternoon, man.
Yeah, I forgot. This is why I never used this one. This thing was, it was in a box of used parts I bought from somebody, and I've never been able to get the screw out of it.
That sounds like the kind of parts that you throw away.
Well, but it's
Not
one of
that
the
I would put it in the drawer over here.
It's one of the genuine V6 heater blocks, and it's the copper one.
Oh.
And it also happens to be the only genuine one I have right now that takes the cartridges versus the super crappy way. So, and I don't have a proper rotary tool. So
You don't have what?
a proper rotary tool. I don't have a Dremel.
Hmm. So until we can come up with like an official name of the stream, we won't have an official website. But I think that I'll make a page off of the Fun King 3D page so that we can have people sign up to be guests, and then also, announcing where it's going to be. James and I decided that we're going to hold the stream here for a few weeks until everything normalizes, and then we'll start to rotate it back and forth.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about the view time or anything like that. So
Boss 429 Pinto wants to know how many benchies will fit on the FK1 bed at one time. And it's funny because I did figure that out one time and now I can't remember. It'll fit 144 of my maker coins. So probably a few more, a few less benchies. I mean, it should be about the same, but, and I guess it would depend on how tight you pack them. I'm thinking about how big a bench he is. We went 15 that way. 24.
Well, I guess I'll go back to the
360 benchies, roughly.
I guess I'll go back to the original setup and see if me tightening that connection fixed the problem, because I don't know what else I can do at this point.
Sean Butler said, Sunday, 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 fun day. Print and play. Oh, that's pretty funny. You know, because you guys have monster truck rallies up there, right?
Yes.
You know, and they always do the commercial, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Yep.
Oh, that's probably a copyright infringement right there.
Sunday, Sunday, Monday.
Andy said, how about fun printing 3D? Yeah, but then people expect me to print stuff. What will be the content of the show? Does the name have to reflect that? No, I was thinking about just naming it like something like Them Two Guys or...
We'll call it Not Quite Chris.
Yeah, not as good as Chris Riley.
Or, I can't believe it's not Chris Riley. There we go. We can still latch onto his name.
Yeah, Paul, we'd have to have you have a webcam to be able to get in, bud. I don't know. I still would like to work on that whole call-in thing. I mean, I got Fun King a phone number so that I could have people call in. Uncle Ron said Sunday afternoon, friends and filament. The only thing with that is then we're stuck with Sundays. We could never move it. So I always say you never name a business like, you know, First Street Cafe, because you can never move off of First Street then.
Do you know how many businesses, like, there is a lumber store or whatever from my home city, and they named themselves after a lake in the city. And I worked at a convenience store that also had that name in it. So I get people coming in going, hey, where is this building supply store? And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're over on this street. And they're like, that's nowhere near the lake. I'm like, well, they used to be, and then they moved. Because people were like, oh, it says this. Do you like how generic I'm being so it doesn't give away where my hometown was?
Right. Well, and you want to give away free advertising.
That's right. They're not a sponsor, but if you're listening and you'd like to be, we're ready to sell out.
I'm always ready to sell out.
Doesn't even have to be that much money.
No, I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Tristan said, Tristan did not cough. Tristan said, try heating the block up in an oven and then rapid cool it in some water. It might help loosen the threads on the grub screw on the copper block.
That'll be maybe tomorrow's exercise. We've got 20 minutes left, and I need to have this thing printing by the end of that 20 minutes.
Uncle Ron said, why are we here Sunday?
I like that.
We'll call it Like You Have Anything Better to Do.
How about if we just call it like, what's the point?
Pointless 3D BS.
But we won't put a question mark on it. We'll call it just what's the point. So like it's either like you're coming to find out what the point is, or you're trying to figure out what the point is.
with Point King 3D.
Sunday afternoon with no Chris Riley.
Or I'll get a green screen and I'll change the background so it's always Chris's basement, and we'll call it breaking into Chris's house.
It has to have something with Chris Riley in it. Just, like we'll call it like this show used to have Chris Riley in it.
The show Chris Riley was too good for.
Oh, I don't know if he's still watching, but that's some funny stuff. Bennett, we're not talking about that, man. That's shh. The Caliburn. Paul suggests that we have an email address to send questions in at. That'd be awesome, except for you can just ask the questions in the chat, and then it's a little bit more personal. Martin said the reason I don't drink show. Or maybe
The reason I do drink.
the reason I should drink.
Inglorious 3D.
Chat about crap with Glenn and friend. These are hysterical. I don't know if it's anything that we could actually use, but it's hysterical. Fun King and Prince Charming.
I don't know. Just no.
Unfinished Proj.
Yes.
3D BS with the King and Canadian. Chris's Attic. The show formerly featuring Chris Riley.
Yes, we have no Chris Riley. We have no Chris Riley today.
Hey, look, I have a door with acrylic. Can you see me?
That's adorable.
Whew, I'm all worn out from that now. So I'm going to a drive-in movie tonight.
Oh yeah? What's playing?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Gosh.
Idiot. So some friends of ours have got on one of those outside inflatable screens, and they've set up a projector, and then they borrowed my FM transmitter I use for my Christmas light show, so they can broadcast the audio to the cars. So everybody's going to go over there and watch the movie from inside our cars so that we don't interact with one another.
Oh, sweet. So it's like what you do in the living room, but now you can pretend that it's not as bad.
Right.
Okay, I believe you.
Vote for Pedro.
Okay, let's get some thermal rings.
No bad.
If you've never watched the epic rap battle they did, it was epic rap battle Napoleon. Oh, thermal runaway.
That was quick.
It might be that the screw.
Might be what?
You know, you get the thermistor or the thermistor screw too tight, and it registers an ultra high temperature.
Oh, because it shorts it out internally.
That's why I hate these.
Hello, Mad Mike. The break and fix show, except for then we'd have to actually fix stuff. We apologize, but we know Riley.
Sorry, I know that's annoying.
Yeah, Bennett said that sound haunts his dreams because he's been fighting that a lot.
Well, because the thing is, for me to clamp it tight enough that it's guaranteed not to come out, it's like a super, super fine line between that and it crushing the wires enough that it ends up causing the heat shrink to, spread apart a bit and short out. Maybe I'm just bad at this. Maybe I should stop.
Andy, we actually have one drive-in theater not too far from here. It's probably about 35 minutes. But they're not real common around here anymore. Hang on, I'm going to mute my mic while I yell at my kid for a minute.
I guess I'm supposed to pick up the slack while he's doing that, but
That was fun. We were actually just having a normal conversation, but by flinging my finger at him, it made it look like I was yelling at him. So did I tell you guys this? I don't know if I told you this story, but I'll tell it again. And if I've already told you, you can tell me to shut up. But my boss at one of the Monday meetings was telling me, all right, I'll take care of it then. Was telling me that his kids decided they were going to have a themed breakfast the other morning, and that they decided the theme was Dad. So they had gotten up, and each kid, he's got a couple of daughters and a son, and each kid dressed like Dad, like representing like their image of him, I guess. And so we're a construction company, so one of the kids comes out with a hard hat on and wearing the bright orange safety vest and like this, and then another one of the kids comes out with his Bible and is dressed real nice, and has the daughter had penciled in a beard, and he was telling this story, and he said he goes, at first I was like a little bit offended, and then I realized that it was really nice what they did, and then I was touched, and I said, yeah, my kids do that too, but it's just them yelling at me and hitting me a lot.
you deserve it though.
Sean Butler said, wait, is James in his basement? Yes, James is in his basement. That's why we always got James to fill in for Chris when Chris wasn't here, so we still had a basement. Bennett said, I'm going to go tear a fuse out of my dad's car. Thanks for the stream. Don't be taking important fuses, man.
Yeah, use the brakes, then you get there faster. I was reading about, did you know that Volkswagen had a car? I think it was one of the Bugs, the Beetles or whatever. And it used like an air compressor to pressurize the liquid container that held your windshield washer fluid. So when the pressure got low, because like it wasn't a constant filling system, you had to repressurize it or whatever. So they
the Volkswagen Beetle, the old Bug, had a hose that ran from the spare tire to the washer bottle.
Okay, so this is where I was going with this, because I read that was a third-party option that somebody else came up with that design, and it would just use the pressure compressed into the tire to pressurize your liquid and send it up onto the.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
But yes, that's where that story was going.
Yeah. So then you wash your windshield too many times, you get a flat tire, and your spare's flat too.
Well, yeah, because there was a pressure sensor that was supposed to determine if that was going to happen, and if it ever failed or whatever. I think this thing's a lost cause.
That printer or just that?
The thermistor probably. The printer's getting close. It's kind of getting on my nerves. I just can't get the replacement parts that I need, so I'm trying to, make things work.
Sean Baller said, fun in the Canadian basement. Yeah, but it's never any fun in the Canadian basement. Once you've been there, you'd understand.
You've never been here.
No Canadian attic. Your house is like 3 stories, isn't it?
Well, like it's 2 stories plus the basement.
Is that what it? Yeah, I don't remember having that conversation with you.
If I want to go to bed, I have to go up 2 flights of stairs right now.
Yeah, typically here in Florida, if you have a basement, you have an indoor swimming pool.
Wish I had an indoor swimming pool.
Sorry, I was reading. I'm not ignoring everybody.
I don't even know why I'm bothering at this point. This thermistor is obviously not going to do me any favors. So.
No, it does not seem like it's in good shape, man.
Darn it, son of a gun.
Yeah, Tim Wood said, yes, the camper use that air pressure to the washers. Uncle Ron said the gathering place.
I saw Tristan had asked if it's the same thermistor. I think all of my thermistors have the same rating. I'm just running those.
I hadn't gotten down to that one yet.
Was that?
I hadn't gotten down to that comment yet, man. I was getting there. Gosh.
I keep the same thermistors on all of my units. That way I don't have to keep track of which one's got what.
In the South, we call our basement storm shelters. Again, in the South, we call our basements an indoor swimming pool. I could have actually had a basement where I am because I'm 70 feet above the water table, but I didn't know it until it was too late. So I did tell Xander to start digging.
He's plenty good at digging himself a hole.
What? No, I wasn't talking about you. Oh, I forgot I got to order dinner. Wow, man, the stream's almost over.
I guess I could put this on it.
That went fast. That's why I don't like having projects. If I don't have projects, the streams go slower.
I feel bad. I've got this mosquito hot end that's been sitting here for a year waiting to be used, and I've been like saving it for like a good project. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have filament that's that way. Yes, I have a mosquito hot end too that is going to get fitted for the FK1. Not necessarily as a replacement for the V6, but I want people to have different options.
This was the hot end assembly I'd built for the FK 0.1. There's the carriage with the fan and everything.
Yeah.
I will finish that eventually, probably, maybe. I don't know.
When Walter gets his Stargate done.
Yeah. That's like the week after he does that, I'm on stream finishing it up. Well, I accomplished nothing, so feels about right for government work.
Bennett said, I either took the cigarette lighter fuse or the one that starts the car. Don't know.
I also have to remember that you shouldn't care either. This is the way science works.
Cars don't have cigarette lighters. Those are accessory parts.
They just happen to work with cigarette lighters. You know, I don't even know where I put the copper one now.
Probably dropped.
Did you freeze? Ah, we lost Glenn. He came so close to making it to the end of the stream. We'll see if he's back in time to say goodbye. Oh, we got about 5 minutes left. He could probably make it back on his laptop or maybe even just getting lucky on a reboot. Oh, there he is.
It's I think it's an issue on StreamYard side because I could see you down in the green room the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And I could hear you. I could hear you say, "Oh, we lost Glenn. Let's see if he comes back in time to say goodbye." Like
there
I
you go.
heard you the whole time.
I'm glad I didn't say what I was going to say about you then.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I don't think you ever go back and rewatch your own streams. So
Oh God, no! I'm boring.
why would anybody want to watch this crap? Honestly. You're all sheeple. I'm gonna have to go looking for a thermistor now. All my thermistors are attached to heater cartridges, and I don't like to unpair them if I don't have to. But I keep ordering spares.
The unfinished side of the top panel faces inside the box. Oh yeah, okay. The hinge pin side should be face down.
Was that?
Did I do that wrong? I put that hinge on upside down.
Oh, did you goof?
Yeah. I think so. Need a more detailed photo, Pooch. Yeah, I did. I put the hinge upside down, but that's okay. I'll fix it. Joel unboxed the Piopoli, I don't know how to say it, Noir?
Noir.
Noir.
Oui. Noir. Well, you know what we unboxed today? A pleasant conversation.
That's right. A proper community involved live stream where we don't have to unbox a brand new printer that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, we're just going to rebox the garbage ones we already own.
So speaking of new printers, have you ordered your Prusa yet?
I have not. So story time. Not last night, the night before. Kay and I are cooking supper. No, this was last night. Sorry. And all of a sudden, there's a loud pop from the stove, and it trips the breaker. And so I go downstairs and I reset the breaker and come back, and the stove section of my stove no longer works. The stovetop does, but the internal doesn't heat. And it's not just a single element. There's 3 elements that are in the actual stove part. None of them.
The oven.
What?
The oven part.
Yeah. So the elements are fine. It's the control board or a relay somewhere on the control board. So I start looking into replacements, and we're looking at like $200 just for the parts. I'm relatively confident I could probably change it myself, but I can't get it locally. So I'm looking at like weeks of waiting, and the stove is like 15 to 20 years old. So we're getting a new stove on Thursday.
That sounds fun.
The snag we run into with this is that they can't take the old one away or deliver the new one into the house because of the current situation. They can leave it on the front steps. I don't own a dolly. So
wow.
I haven't quite figured out the whole situation yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm sad.
Mad Mike throwing down $1.99.
What?
What? Thank you, Mike. Well, I hate to admit it, but I still have not yet fixed my oven from when the lightning struck it in August.
What did it fry? Everything?
It fried the main control board
Yep.
really well, like it was charred black, and then it also fried the relay board that controls the fans and the lights.
Oh, nice.
The problem, which that board I found online, I found it on eBay, used but tested good for $10. So that's fantastic, except for the morons when they designed the wall oven, they put the board on the back side of the oven unit,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a 700-pound wall oven, like it's in the cabinet, and it weighs 700 pounds. So that's been my procrastination on that, is I just don't want to pull 700 pounds worth of oven out of the wall.
Because that's huge.
Yeah, I'm going to build a scaffold in front of the cabinet so that I can pull it out onto that scaffolding. I mean, it'll probably take me 5 minutes to replace the board, and it'll take me 2 days worth of building and pulling it out and putting it back.
But you're better off not trying to be like rush through it and hurt yourself, and for what, right?
Yeah, well, when my neighbor and I installed that oven originally, I said to him, I said, I don't ever want to have to take this out. And here
Well,
I
that's when
am.
it broke. Oh, so other story time. So the oven blew up last night, and Kayleen's saying, because I never had a super bad temper, but that would be the kind of thing that would definitely get under my skin. And I was like, you know, what are you going to do? This is the situation. So I go over to the fridge, and I'm putting stuff back in the fridge because we were preparing supper, and we now can't even cook the beef that we had started cooking for supper. And I open the fridge door, and Kayleen has a cast iron Dutch oven that I bought her, and she had put it up on top of the fridge, resting on the door. So it fell, and it landed on my foot. And it didn't break my foot because on the way down, it landed on the freezer door at the bottom and dented it in, and then hit my foot. So I have, so it had gone red and stuff on the other edge, but I could still move it. And I've got a couple of like spots where it took the skin off as it went across. But I'm walking away and my foot went numb. So I swore a little bit at that point, not going to lie.
Yeah, no
And I
doubt.
walk by Kay's like, are you hurt? I'm like, I don't know because my foot's numb, but I can't imagine. With the fact that this is a 35-pound cast iron Dutch oven, then I didn't break my toe. And then as it's like calming down and I'm realizing that like, yeah, there's some numbness, but it's not shattered, you know, like, well, thankful for that.
Well, yeah, you're not having good appliance luck right now.
Well, we're leaving the freezer for now. It'll be fine. Or the fridge / freezer. It didn't damage anything there. The Dutch oven didn't break, other than it took some of the enamel off of it. It also didn't break the tiles on the floor. So I was thankful for that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because I'm not in the mood to retile the floor. And those tiles are 20 years old at this point, so I'm not going to find a matching one to replace it.
You know, I gave Xander a Dutch oven once.
Ah, was it a gas Dutch oven?
It was.
It's like I knew.
Uncle Ron, I've actually looked at that cart before. I didn't even have to click on it. I know exactly what that is. The problem with those, one, they're ridiculously heavy on their own, and just moving that thing in and out of the house wouldn't be worth it. And I can't really justify the cost of it for doing what I'm doing. So Uncle Ron said your foot cushioned the tile.
Probably.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. It is 6:04 p.m. and I need to feed my children and then take them to see a movie. God, that's an annoying sound, James.
That's a new thermistor.
Well, you definitely got something else going on, huh?
I don't freaking know. Ah,
Well, if you'd like to go ahead and do an outro.
I'm James. I'm Print and Play here on YouTube. I'm at JC Print and Play on Twitter, which are the two spots I'm most active. I've got a Facebook page and stuff too, but I don't really monitor them all that actively. So if you want to follow me either on YouTube or Twitter, that's how to do it. It's pretty much it. I think everybody here knows who I am by now. Wishes they didn't. Especially the host.
And that brings you guys to me. And, you know, I know I say the same thing every week, so this week I'm going to mix it up because I really want to give a special thank you to you guys for hanging out today, because you didn't go over and watch Joel. You watched us instead, and that is greatly, greatly appreciated. Even if you were watching them both at the same time, we love having you here. We love the interactions. We love when you ask questions and give us a direction to go. I think we relatively stayed on topic today. I got some portion of a project done that I should have done a long time ago. I bought this thing. This thing was supposed to be in my possession and built before the Orlando Maker Faire last November. So it's been sitting for just a little while. But I do have a couple other projects that I've put on the back burner that I'm going to be working on now. So that's going to be fun. But thank you guys for being here. We love each and every one of you. These streams would be senseless without you.
Yep, it'd just be two guys talking.
Right, which wouldn't be a terrible thing, but it's a lot more fun with you guys. So we'll be back again next Sunday. We look forward to seeing you. I now have to take 15 minutes out of my life and write a strongly worded email to Joel for taking over my time slot, and because I love giving him a hard time.
He senses our weakness now that we don't have Chris Riley anymore.
Well, and I've done so much for him through the years. For him to tread on me like this is a little bit rough. So, but thank you guys. We will see you next week. I don't think that I have anything else going. Xander wants you to subscribe to Peg Leg Paul on YouTube.
You don't have to, though.
And otherwise, we will see you guys next week. Love you guys. Thank you for being here.
See you next week.